Okay,
We're on?
we're now live.
Okay. Hello there. You click on there, Charlene. Hello, everyone. Starting the broadcast. We're going to try to get these sharper and sharper. Last one went pretty good. Hopefully this one will be even smoother. So let's introduce ourselves real quick. This is Nai G Coach.
This is Shailene.
I am Zai Nicodemus.
Click on Mitchell. Mitchell, introduce please.
Hi, I'm Nai G. Mitchell.
Go ahead, Ben.
I am Nai G. Ben.
Infiniti. Infiniti.
Nijai Infiniti.
Glenn.
Nai G. Glenn.
Boom. And Emil.
Niji Emil, aka Eagle Eye on the forums.
Excellent. Eagle Eye, Nige Eagle Eye. One thing there is I noticed that Eagle Eye screen is flipped so that it's showing a reverse image.
Oh yeah, the camera maybe is upside down.
Oh, that's you put it there.
Okay.
Very cool.
You're able to.
Perfect. Can you introduce yourself again, Eagle Eye?
I'm Niji Eagle Eye.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, Charlene, we'll do a status report and then we'll get to the quiz.
Yeah, sounds great. So this weekend, our big focus was the Love Long Beach Festival that we attended, and overall it was a resounding success. We over the course of the weekend we approached 34 contacts in the festival, and we had varying degrees of exchanges. Some of them, just more cursory of handing the flyers and the general one, and the one with their read, and just giving them the general intro. And then, they went off their way to like really, really in-depth long conversations with some of them. So on Saturday we did a demo presentation vlog, which we'll be posting out there. And I think, we were kind of, this being our first time doing an event and festival, I think we all came away, but we kind of put ourselves out there. We were brave, because things were very fluid in this festival, but we took the bold choice every time, and so it came away with like the organizers, or the organizer that we interacted with of the event came away really impressed, and definitely keeping us in mind for future events and opportunities. And we came away with some really good contacts today. Yesterday we also did some reading rituals in the dome where we did the presentation. Today we did more of handing flyers out in the general festival area, but still a lot of volume. Like I said, overall 34, and very, very positive, and we'll vlog some more about it tomorrow.
Yeah, so overall we gave like 34 approaches, and 31 of them, it went smooth, they were friendly, everything went cool. Several of those went a long conversation, so we got a lot of good data there. And we're also starting to get an idea of what things we say gets the most attention and positive attention. So we got some good ideas there of like some catchphrases. And we were talking before we start recording about wanting to have sort of like a more wooing almost aspect to some of the incantation we're going to do coming up. So we're constantly increasing our casual incantation. And one of the things we noticed is that once we said why we were there and gave enough technical stuff to just initially orient them, after that, what they seemed to be interested in, the questions they were asking were almost like woo me. Whether they know it or not, they were kind of wanting to be metaphysically wooed. And so we'll actually work on three in particular. We're going to start the incantation next levels up, looking for a rather wowie, wooey version of what mojo they are. Because when Nemus and I were doing some reads in there, and we're talking about like Infiniti was mentioning, the kind of stuff that we would say in the confirmation emails we gave out when people first got read about, oh, you're Nijai, but be aware that Nijai misread a lot for being sensitive, and that chameleon thing, they can do lots of field. That kind of conversational discourse line, that seemed to be doing well. So we're going to actually look more into that and try to come with some specific incantation pieces to go right for it. So one on that, on their mojo. The other is kind of how much pleasure in an anecdotal way. Naturally, I don't tend to talk as much in the anecdotal, but that actually was something they liked. And whenever we would talk about the joy of the emoji reading and how it did this or that for us personally, they liked that. So we'll come up with like a real good thing for how the experience of training feels. Not from a technical standpoint or even an empowerment standpoint, but I would say more from a pleasure standpoint. And then the last one is they would sometimes be talking for a while with us, and they would give a look of like, okay, now what? And I think giving sort of like being collaborators on the experiment with us and the exciting opportunities that offers is sort of doing something sexy with that, like ooh, get in now and see all the cool things that you can do if you get in quickly.
Yeah, and we also decided to throw out there that we're doing these hangouts at because we're gonna start filming the hangouts, the Google Hangouts
this
year at the Royal Cup
our local coffee shop.
At the local coffee shop.
So that the locals can see us doing what we do. They can see our skillful discourse here with you all while we're out and about, and it'll help our confidence as well.
Right, and we're going to be publicizing that, so putting it out
there.
Oh
yes, because another thing people gave us kind of energy of like, okay, how do I follow up? And some of them didn't look like that the following up on the internet or a more academic way was their riff's way. And then more, they'd want to follow up maybe by meeting and chatting. So once we get this Google Hangout more polished, we'll start doing it regularly over our local coffee shop, and then we meet people and it's going well. We'll say, hey, if you want to come jam with us, come check us out on Sundays, 5:30, 7:30. So that's like a regular thing, and they'll see us at a high energy moment. So all that's in the works, and
those some great takeaways.
Great takeaways, and we'll put that into our program. Sound good? All right, cool. So I guess we'll go ahead and get into the quiz. You can pull those up. Everyone get their answers out, please.
Yeah, I have a list here.
Oh, and tomorrow, Jilene and I will be talking a bit more about some of the actual encounters and how they went down, what we learned from them. All right. Layla Ward, the first one? That's right.
Yes.
All right.
So.
All set? Okay, Layla Ward, actress. Jilene, what do you have?
I have Nizai.
Nizai.
I said Nijai.
Ben?
Oh, Nizai.
I said Nijai.
Okay. Glenn?
Nijai.
Eagle Eye?
Nijai.
Okay, everyone's very close on that. Layla is a Nizai. How many got it?
I
One,
did.
yeah.
Two.
I heard one other person.
I did.
Yeah, Ben did.
Okay.
Okay, so
So
three
of 7.
3 of 7. But everyone got Ni Alpha that one. Good.
Yeah.
Next up is Deborah Watling, actress.
Yeah, I put Nizai for her.
Nijai.
I said Naiji.
Nizai.
Nijai.
Nizai.
Naiji.
All right. Deborah Watling is a Nizai. How many got that?
I believe myself and Jilene.
Yeah. Did you get it?
No, I got.
Glenn, did you get that?
Yeah, I got that one.
Like that
Okay,
also.
so 3 out of 7.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right. Next up is the actor Victor Webster.
I put Jinai for him.
Gina as well.
I said G9.
G9.
Jinai.
Gina.
Jinai.
Bam! 7 for 7.
Wow.
Nice.
Nice on that one. Sweet. Okay, next up is the actress Anique Wills.
I put Nizai for her.
Nijai.
I said Nizai.
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 It is Nizai.
Oh.
Is that 5?
All of the Doctor Who actresses have been Nizai.
Yeah, it's
A lot of them,
a lot of them, have been.
There's a couple that I think are not, but it's very.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, you're right. It's like almost overwhelmingly Nizai there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nicholas George Winton, British humanitarian. What do you got?
I put Naiji for him.
Naiji.
I said Nijai.
I said Nijai.
Naiji.
Naishi.
Naiji.
It is Nijai. Mitchell and Ben got that
Oh,
one.
nice.
I was going between the.
I thought Ben.
Okay, good. So that was how many got that?
2.
2.
Next is the music artist Patrick Wolf.
Okay, I have Nijai for him.
Naiji.
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 It is Naiji.
Uh,
How you got that?
6 out of 7.
So, okay. The author, David Weber.
Okay, I said Nijai.
Nijai.
I said Naiji.
Nijai.
Naiji.
Naiji.
It
Naiji.
is Naiji.
Oh.
How many right?
I think it was
5.
5. Is it 5?
I said Nijai.
Next, the author, Anita Sarkeesian.
I said Nijai.
Naiji.
Nijai.
Naiji.
Nijai.
Nijai.
Naiji.
Okay, I don't think anybody got her. She is Nijai.
Oh.
Nijai.
I was between
No,
Nijai.
you said, wait, what'd you say?
She's a
Zinai.
Zinai.
Gina. Ooh.
Z.
Zinai.
Z.
Next up, Marnie
Kinris. I have Zinai for her.
Nizai.
I said Jivine.
I also said Jibai.
Nijai.
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 Another Zinai.
Ah,
Another Xena.
wait, who else got Zinai?
It is you.
Okay.
Next is Zoe Swikor Kazan, screenwriter and actress.
I said Nijai for her.
Nijai.
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 Jinai.
What do you say?
Jinai.
It's Nijai. 6 out of 7. We're all close there.
Close, yeah.
Yeah.
Abram.
Next up is Amber Lyon, journalist.
I said Zinai.
Zinai.
Z9.
Zinai.
Nizai.
Zinai.
Zinai.
It is Z9. Next up, haven't got that.
6 out of 7.
Nice. Next up is Michael Mahan, journalist.
I said Naiji for him.
Baiji.
Vaiji.
Vaiji.
Naizi.
Baiji.
Zaini.
No one got this one.
Oh.
Whoa.
Oh, man.
Wait, did you say what it was?
It's Zinai.
Asti.
Oh.
Also the guy
Zinai.
who died.
I'm not sure.
He did.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
he was
he did.
This is Zinai. Zinai.
Michael Mahan is
Yeah.
Z9.
Zinai.
Next up, Azam Ali, music artist.
I put Naiji.
Shiny.
Naiji.
Jaini.
Nijai.
Jainu.
Jaini.
Okay, it is Naiji.
Okay.
Was that, who got that? 2 or 3?
I got it.
Yeah, me and Jylin. I got it too.
2. A lot of you guessed Jani in that one, correct?
Yeah.
I was between those two,
She
yeah.
had
But
long
I was the one who requested her,
Ah.
Oh, yeah.
so.
Next up is Slavaj Zizek.
I have Naiji for him.
Naiji.
Nijai.
Naiji.
Naiji.
Naiji with a lot of HSP.
Naiji.
That?
Naiji.
It is Naiji with a lot of HSP.
Oh man.
Got that one.
Wow.
Next is Darren Brown, illusionist and mentalist.
I said Nijai.
I said Naiji.
I said Naiji.
Naiji.
Nizai.
Naiji.
Naiji.
It is Naiji.
Oh,
He had a bit of an
nice.
impish look to him, so I can
He
see
did
how
have an impish.
he did have the impish look, but
Yeah, that's true.
Naiji.
How many right?
I think it was it 4 or 5?
Well,
How do you even keep track?
5. Give it something to focus on. Yeah.
you can do it, camera.
I can do it.
How many fingers am I holding up?
How many fingers am I holding?
Is it focusing on like dust on the lens or something? Oh.
Oh no.
Anyway, I guess we'll move on.
I
Yeah.
think
That's really annoying. Weird. Okay, anyway, next sample.
So how many got Darren Brown, Frank?
I did.
I did.
I did.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Four? Oh, five.
Five.
Okay.
Next up, Jeffrey Z, psychotherapist.
I have Naiji for him.
That's G.
I said Ziny.
I also said Ziny.
Naiji.
I said Ziny.
Ziny.
It is Naiji.
Ooh.
Note that one that Lato said Ziny in that one.
How many got that? 3?
I got it.
I did 2.
You got Naiji. Who else got
Maybe like-
Naiji?
I think Mike.
I got it right.
So 3 out of 7.
All right. Next is Tim Minchin.
I have Nijai for him.
Naiji.
I said Nijai.
Nijai.
Nizai.
Nijai.
Nijai.
Okay, he is Naiji. Note him down that Lato thought he was Nijai.
Did somebody get Naiji?
I did.
You did. Nice.
Nice.
He was tricky though. I was between those two.
Yeah.
I might do him. Next is Randall Monroe, former NASA roboticist, webcomic artist.
I said Naiji.
Naiji.
I said Ziny.
I said Ziny.
Nijai.
Naiji.
Naiji.
It is Naiji. Was that 4?
Yeah.
Next is Valentina Lasita, classical pianist.
Let's see, 9 for her.
Nijai.
I said Ziny.
Nijai.
Nizai.
What's that?
Oh, Nijai.
I said Nizai.
Len?
Nijai also.
Zenai.
This is a Nijai.
Nice.
Ah.
She does have some Z going on. That made her skew to be logic based. All right,
How
next
many
up,
got Nijai?
I think Demas and I.
Okay,
Nice.
2 out of 7. Great.
next is Ivan Massau, financial service entrepreneur.
I said C9.
Zenai.
I said Nizi.
Zenai.
Naiji.
Nizi.
Naizi.
All right, it is a Z9, but cool. Several of you were getting Z though, so that's good, and a G9. So you were around it.
Mm-hmm. How many got C9? I got 1. I heard someone else say C9. So
I did 2.
Emil, yeah, 2.
Next is that the last
That
one?
was
I think
it.
that's
I
it.
think that's the last one.
Boom. All right. Excelente. I do.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 out of 20.
12. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, trying to keep these above 50% as best we can. 52.5 or higher is what you need for level 11 in Moj reading. Once you get that far, that's the first level where there's a requirement for accuracy. 52.5 or higher is the first rung. All right, with that said, let's move on to the tutorial session here. Infinity?
Yes. All right, let me just get my notes. Okay, so the last vlog, Coach spoke about Zaini Jamie Ray Newman, and I'm going to read what I had written earlier in the week about her. Okay, so Zaini Jamie Ray Newman, I'm happy to say that I identified / followed pretty much every cue that Coach mentioned here. I really identify with the type of Zai-Ji ping pong match that Newman is doing throughout the video. It has almost the feel of a power stroke that you might find in a tennis serve or a golf swing. It is as if a Zai principle is determined within, which sets her up to subsequently apply her Ji to articulate the persuasive importance of such a principle. So Zai is the internal setup that is indelibly linked to the more outward and dramatic portion of the power stroke by Ji. So to bring the tennis serve to full fruition, think of it this way. Zai is like the delicate upward toss of the ball upward, And like Xi, it requires a delicate balance, which feels very 49-51, at least to me, since deviations too right or too left can make handling the serve considerably more complex. But then with a proper Xi toss, the Xi can go for the articulate power stroke, as it uses active motion by the server to hit the ball with not just the right aim, Xi, but also the right amount of power so that it hits the precise intended location on the court, Xi. Although I just provided a tennis analogy, I really feel that this power stroke was really noticeable throughout Newman's interview. And if that was a major take-home message that Coach intended to convey, I got that one loud and clear. Nicely conveyed indeed.
Was indeed.
Yeah.
I'm actually, stop there. I'm actually quite curious what anyone else has noticed in observing Xi, and particularly from a Demas, how that works. Because I know a lot of people seem to think that the Xi can only work on principles that are just like purely separated from humanistic concerns, but that's not actually how it works in this holistic way. And that the Ray Newman, she was doing that a lot, where she was using principles that were directly going to go to a Xi kind of argument or thing forward, and like it can almost look like it's like shy, because she would go in to get a principle, and that principle is directly meant to be talked about in a passion logician kind of way. I'm curious, you could talk a little bit about your process, sir.
I could. Unfortunately, I'm not familiar with the interview that he's citing because I was out of town, so those were some of the.
That's okay.
I can just give you a brief thing, is that she was talking about PETA and a lot of other things that were about like animals and not being cruel and humane, things of that nature. And she went to her Xi quite a bit, and then would go into the Xi. It was like one smooth stroke, as if when she went to the Xi, she was weighing like a principle but it was related to a humanistic concern. That was like happening at the same time, which confused a lot of people that she was Xi.
Interesting. And I can see that confusion just because both the Xi and Xi, when they go in, then they're centering themselves. They're putting themselves at equilibrium. But that equilibrium, even if it's logic-based equilibrium, then you're still going in to weigh something, to be like, okay, where do I stand on this? And what's interesting is she's actually going in and then going dispassionate, separating herself from the Xi for a brief moment. And whatever the 49-51 is, whatever the answer is, that's what that defines her code of conduct.
That's good. I like that.
So yeah, you'll see Xi kind of get hit by something and then go in, and then okay, here's the way it is. Here's how I have to roll with that, and that it kind of charges it with the passion. If that makes sense.
Yeah, she was actually kind of doing like a very feminine version of the impassioned logician. And I think like the sort of feminine version of it might give the impression of a Xi, but I think Infinite noted it. Once you really pay attention to what she does on resonating and articulating, she does follow a very pretty much clear cooling going in and then warming going out and staying localized. But the overall effect of it, that weighing and then warmth, but it was all like one maneuver. She did it like pretty much throughout. So that's something to actually to look for in the future. Both where it cools and where it warms, and the fact that it can be done together in like this sort of looping stroke, and so that really the Xi and Xi aren't separated. I think it's because people expect sometimes to see like a totally separated power. It gives a very kind of cliched idea of what a power is. If that's what you're looking for, you won't see that.
It's part of an entire peak pathway. Yeah. So when you do it, then it's like you do go dispassionate for a bit, but you take it around back to Xi land.
Yeah, and sometimes she'd even go back into the Xi, and she would still have the Xi on her mouth, as if she was weighing the Xi principle, but of something that she felt strongly about, and she felt good that she was getting a strong principle to be able to, articulate in the cause. Cool stuff. Anybody else have anything they've noticed from watching Xi? Maybe particularly in this case, the females, because this particular game that you see more of the females. Although you do see Xi males doing it in almost like a rapid, semi-rapid way that can be confusing as Naiji as well, where they kind of like Baba, Xi, Baba, Xi.
Yeah.
What's the name? That one. The bald, muscular Xi.
Ken Wilber.
Ken Wilber. Yeah, he does better at that. If not, I guess go ahead, Infiniti, and continue on, please.
Okay. Actually, I relate so much to this power stroke, but instead from a Zhai to Z perspective. For me, some feeling inspires me from deep within. If it hits just the right Zhai sweet spot, it can cause me to execute a given action or articulation, Z style. Depending on the specific instance and intended effect, this can have either constructive or destructive ramifications, but it still revolves around A, the feeling-based inspiration to act that is dependent on how my Zhai resonates with that feeling, and B, the Z implementation that fully acts upon the Zhai-based impulse to act. Zhai sets up the stroke and gets me in the ready position, and then Z allows me to take full action that was inspired by the Zhai. As an adaptive mojo, I resonate very well with the power stroke analogy that I am describing here, and that Coach emphasized without necessarily calling it a power stroke. Very cool indeed. Should I continue on?
Yeah, because I think it's a continuation of that last point.
Yep.
Let's bring another point up and talk about that.
A few more observations. I very much noticed the identical three separate yet integratable portions of the face: Ji mouth, Zai sheer cheeks, and Ni eyes that adverbs have, in essentially the same way as you, Coach, described a few weeks back when you described the Ni Zai, potentially misread as Zhai Ni. The main difference here is that as a subjective mojo, Newman exhibits increased eye-hoodedness versus the Nizai. But beyond this one difference, the identical face zone triad can easily be seen, and the manner in which her wide G articulations were separate from her Zai sheer cheeks were especially noticeable in her. So that's point number 2. I have 3 points. So that was point number 2.
Now, on that one, that's how I'm interested is how are people experiencing sometimes distinguishing between the ad ROMs and ad serves? I know, for example, myself, sometimes I have to let it wash over me, the maneuvers they're doing with the G. But if I look in, as Infiniti's mentioning here, and focus on what the zones are doing, the ad serves have a different zonal quality, eyes, cheeks, and mouth, as the ad ROM. You okay?
Yep.
I'm curious, is that something that's troubling for other people, or is that one that's not as hard? Well, for example, today, there was a few that we were looking at that were Nijai and thought to be Nizai on some of the quiz samples.
Yeah.
I'm curious, I have several people, can you talk a bit about what you were seeing, or thought you were seeing? What moved you that way?
You're saying the ones that are Ni's eye and thought.
Either one where you transpose the Ni alpha. Did anyone else today transpose a Ni alpha in their quiz? I think there were several of those.
A lot.
Oh, do you want to go first, Mike, or? Oh.
Go ahead, Ben.
Oh, okay. Okay. For the Doctor Who actresses, I found myself relying heavily on the riffing. Like I riffed off like the Doctor Who actresses, and I ended up getting all 3 of them right today. So I guess that really helped. I find it like it's either like I notice something very distinct with the way their mouth is moving, or I riff off another sample in order to get the answer to distinguish the 2 Ni alpha or 2 Ni alpha for that matter.
Yeah, Ben, I do that as well. I kind of go in and sort of focus on the zones, how much of a distinction there is, because the Nizai tend to have a bit of that, almost like a cleft. Be very track is like a cleft as it comes down here, and then up here is sheer. So I kind of try to hone into that. And the other thing is that mouth. One is I try to see if it's aware or unaware, but a lot of times I rely on riffing to tell it apart. So the more Nizai you have, a lot of times I do note, I guess, that I'm saying, oh, it looks like Zhai mouth or G mouth, but usually the way it goes in my brain is like Ben was saying, it's like her mouth looks like so-and-so and so-and-so, and they're both Zhai or Nizai, so that means it. So a lot of times, even when I'm actually like guessing it's a Zhai mouth, I'm doing it through riffing. So good point. Infiniti, did you have something you wanted to say?
I mean, in my case, I just got many of them wrong. I mean, I think in many cases I chose Nijai when it was actually Nizai. I mean, it's something that I just need to work on a little bit more, maybe differentiating the zones of the face a little bit more. I mean, I think I spent a lot of time on aware mouth versus unaware mouth, but didn't pay off. So it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time.
But I do find on that works. But also, like Ben was saying, sometimes the riffing is really, really helpful that way. And I notice that sometimes I also get a vibe, I guess like a third or fourth year vibe, that they're doing like the macking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that lets me know that it's a Nizai, which is helpful because like for a long time that macking style, the Nizai, can really throw its values base because of how much emotive signal they're sending off. And then with the Nizai, there's that, I'd say like kind of spunky, sometimes even a little bracing quality to it, and they have rather deadpan delivery in their humor.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds counterintuitive, but a lot of times I look for that sort of deadpan humor to let me know that I'm dealing with the Nizai and the Mackin kind of humor in the Nizai.
Yeah, it's interesting that the logic basics actually, because the G, they can actually be more demonstrative, emotionally demonstrative outwardly, and more coquettish too, and their approach.
Even like a little flirty sometimes.
Yeah, flirty. Yeah, as opposed to the Nizai tend to be have more of a racing quality to them at times, more studious. Like,
some more studious, even the females like a tomboy quality.
Yeah,
you mentioned. Cool beans.
Yeah.
Do you have something, Infinity?
No, I think as I look at each sample in the coming week, I'm probably going to report quite a bit on this stuff. So you'll hear more. You'll hear more in the next few days ahead.
Excellent.
Because it's a hot topic for me.
Cool. All right, then go ahead and please continue.
Yeah. Okay. Finally, I can see how the Zai Ji power stroke described above can be misconstrued as a result of her subjective hoodedness as being a Zai alpha mojo. And I can also see how this can be compounded by the fact that she was talking about an area that is extremely values driven. I think that it is important that one, i.e. the mojo reader, is able to separate and resolve between two isolated sets of cues, the Xi cues and the Ji cues. This allows the ambiguity and fuzziness of cue recognition to be reduced or minimized so that one is able to concretely identify Xi cues and Ji cues in isolation rather than to lump them together as being a pseudo Xi cue. And of course this works reciprocally for Xi Z mojos and for every respective individual with their conscious set of 4 pod powers. This is not always an easy thing to do, but clearly this particular tutorial really cuts to the heart of the importance of performing this as much as possible while performing each read. Highly important, highly informative vlog. Thanks as always.
Excellent. Glad to do it. Glad you got something out of it.
Oh, for sure.
Does anyone have anything to say about that? Any questions? And if they have any questions on anything at all, we can go from there as well. Pretty clear? Okay, was there anything that you guys were really thrown by into this week's quiz? One that really surprised you or anything like that? If that's cool, I'm just getting an idea of like what might be good to do a tutorial on. We'll try to make sure I'm picking one that will be good.
Well, like not many people got the Z9 in the first half.
Michael Mahan? So might do that.
Well, which one did you say?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You said a sample, didn't you? I asked what you said.
Oh, basically, I was just looking at ones that were zeros. Michael Mahan, and then also Anita Sarkeesian.
Right.
Yep.
Basically.
Those are good ones.
So I'll probably do one of those this week. Okay. If there's nothing else, then we can go ahead and get into some live reading.
I have the notations, but
oh yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, that's okay. Oh, actually, no. And I also have the question. I have the question on the ones that I didn't see. So okay. I can show you a clip. A time point. So you have the video. I sent you the video already.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
YouTube,
and it's at 1 minute and 2 seconds during that clip. And up to
dogs a year. Otherwise, be looked over. The second your dog becomes, that is the primary
Okay, so you said 1 minute and 2 seconds?
1 minute and 2 seconds. She has a shoulder shrug.
Okay. Let's see here. Let me set it back. Is everybody seeing the video here? Yeah?
Jamie Ray Newman for PETA.
Cool.
Yes. Yes.
They had a few minutes, a few seconds before. Okay.
Because, I mean, that is the primary.
Oh, yeah. And she says, because that is the primary thing
Left.
she does. Yeah, she does the pitch of the
So-
left. Yeah.
Okay, so Coach mentioned that basically, there's a left head. All right, there's a left head tilt, and Coach was saying that that's attributed to Xi articulating, and that a little bit confused me. So I'll tell you what I wrote. I gave it a 6 out of 10, and I wrote, I'm a bit confused why a left head tilt would be Xi. Wouldn't it relate more to her Vi, since I always thought that head tilts are essentially pointing to the subjective pod powers on each respective side rather than to the respective objective counterparts? Or at the very least, could it respect some sort of Vi-Xi combo where she is? And then in the next paragraph, I offer a solution. Or not a solution, more information. Should I keep on going?
Yeah, go ahead, and then we'll go from there.
2 more pieces of information that may play into this a bit more that I noticed. I noticed A, a shoulder shrug as she performs this left head tilt, and B, that she is actually going home as she channels her thoughts. Maybe with all this info, perhaps she's doing some sort of Vi-Xi combo while applying A and B. So A is, again, the shoulder shrug, and B is the going home. And at the same time, she is continually applying Xi articulation to stress the importance of her point. So I'm basically implying Vi-Xi with Xi happening at the same time. Could that be going on?
Yes, it absolutely can be going on. And Zaini do that maneuver a lot, actually. What I was referencing here is the left movement of the head for any mojo tends to happen when they are doing directive power use. So
Right.
there is for myself, there's a Nai head tilt and a Xi head tilt in general. But you'll also notice that when a Xi mojo gets going, even when they use it as modulation, they'll tend to go onto their left. For example, they'll jut with their head tilted slightly to the left. So that's what I was referring to. So left can be left and back. It can also be left and forward. Does that make sense?
Oh, so it's more like a jut.
In her case, because she was actually doing the shoulder and head tilt, it's almost like you can see both together. Like if she was going to the left and straight back, that would be more like just the hunter power, the Vi. If she was going sort of forward left, that's like a jut. That would be more just the Xi. But when she did the head tilt left and kind of like a Xi shoulder shrug, then yes, I would say it's like a Vi and Xi maneuver together.
Gotcha. Okay, so it actually is some sort of combo.
Question, is our screen flipped?
I missed that. Wait, what did you say?
Right.
That's flipping, isn't it?
Yeah.
My left.
How
Yeah.
do we unflip it?
Looks flip to me.
Yeah.
It does look flipped to you?
Actually, it may not be broadcasting, but
So
we do, yeah.
what do you see? Are you seeing this normal, Mitchell? Is my hand look like it's on the right side of you?
On the
I think so, yeah.
On the left?
Yeah, on your left.
I notice. Okay. So
Does this look like I'm doing? Does this look like I'm doing
My right, your left.
Nai or Xi? Is my hand look like it's on a hunter power or a tower power?
Yeah.
Hunter.
Hello?
I can't hear you guys.
Hunter.
Are you muted?
Mitchell?
No.
No one's muted.
No
Everyone's saying Hunter.
We all hear each
Hunter.
other.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, the team.
Team.
Oh,
Okay.
there we go. What's
Okay,
that?
what happened?
Hunter.
Hunter?
Hunter.
Yeah, you guys like went out there for a second.
Yeah.
Like we were all saying it over and over and over. And you were like,
That's funny.
That's awesome. Okay.
Cool. All right, so are we good on that then?
We are. Definitely. You're basically saying it's a combo. You're basically agreeing that it's some sort of combo.
So when the head goes, I would say straight to the left, a lot of times that's going to be a combination of the two. And the more tilted back it is, it's going to the rear power. And the more lean forward, either in a jut or like a drinking the environment in, that's the front powers.
Objective. Got it.
Cool.
Okay, cool. Q notations. Q notations. Okay, so the same video.
Okay.
Okay. It starts from 1:15. Actually, the first notation's at 1:16, and it goes all the way to 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
1:16 is the first one. Okay, I'll play it. I'll play it from now. It's like at 1:13. I'll play it up to 1:15.
Okay,
Okay.
we're going Q by Q?
How do you want to? Are we going Q by Q?
So you do the cues first, then we watch it, or how we do it last time?
Last time you went ahead and said what the Q. You said the time code. We watched it, and then you said what the Q was.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. So let's do that. 1:16.
Right. So we just watched that.
Okay. Right head tilt, hooded eyes, going home. G mouth is wide and ready for articulating.
Yeah, we're seeing that actually at this freeze frame. Right now, she has that's slight head tilt.
Yep.
And let me
Yeah,
play it
totally.
a little bit. Yeah, and she closed her eyes there for a second. That's what you meant by going home, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. 1:18. 3 zones of the face. 1, G mouth in articulating mode, noticeable as well in the 2 fascia lines to the side of her mouth that do not enter the cheek area. 2, sheer xi cheeks. And 3, hooded eyes as the coolness transcends downward from the forehead down into the cheek area. Unifield face going home.
Right, it was there. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that the 3 zones of the face, clearly like the sheer cheeks, the localized. She was going home. Yeah.
All of the above.
All of the above.
Yeah. 1:20. As she nods to what she is saying, she is essentially re-registering the validity of the point with her xi. That causes an interesting moment of deep reflection into her tower. Eyes closed, really going home. Cheeks are hyper sheer, and the mouth is still aware with G. She looks as if she is in a deep meditative trance in this instant.
What time is that?
1:20. 1:20.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when she closes her eyes.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah. And it goes cool when that happens.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. You did that.
Exactly. Okay. 1:21. As she is about to finalize her point, there will be world peace. Immediately prior to the end of that point, she closes her eyes as she goes into xi. Then immediately after that, she opens her eyes and readily states the punchline of her sentence with full-blown G articulation.
Yeah, so she closes her eyes and said, I think there would be world peace, and then she comes and like brightens up with the G, right?
Right.
So she cools down. She goes steely when she goes inward, closes her eyes, and then at the end of the sentence, she like accentuates. She picks up with the G. And then,
it has kind of a connection moment with the interviewer and maybe someone else on the side.
Exactly. 1:22. A very similar xi-based giggle to the one that happened about 10 seconds prior, and that happened to be in, I believe, in the one that Coach was, in the one that Coach mentioned in his vlog. So, basically a xi-based giggle at 1:22.
Yeah, where she goes, haha, and goes like to her right. Sheldon does that.
Yeah.
It has like sometimes like an inward
the inward laugh, yeah.
Right. 1:35. amazing pose of a hooded knee perk up, even though her eyes are closed, yet her eyebrows are fully upward and perked up. Note that her mouth is completely aware. 135.
Oh yeah, she does like this. She closes her eyes and sort of. Is it when she nods?
Exactly. I'm trying
Yeah,
to,
she
I'm
has
trying to
actually
mimic
right
it.
now in the freeze frame. She's still in it, and she's kind of going backwards into her Zai, but with the G.
Yeah,
So you can see the G localized there.
right. Just to let you know, I have about 6 or 7 to go, so
Great.
I'll do a few more.
Yeah.
Yeah, we play
Okay.
time.
Okay, good. 137. Even though one might think that this is a Zai resonating moment, I think this could be reframed to pinpoint Zai, since she appears to be thinking about the principle of unconditional love and relating that to her ability to properly articulate it using Ji.
What
So
time? Is
it looked 135, 130, 137, 137.
Where she goes with such love. Is that the one?
Yeah, exactly. So it looks Zai. It looks Zai, but
But if you her face is steely though, like she's going backwards.
right.
Even in the freeze frame right now, she's in her Zai and Vi, and like you can see like her, or she's inward, and you can see the steeliness like coming upon
Yes.
her face.
Crossing over
Yeah.
instead of when the shiny go into like 1,000 yards there, then it has that more horrible expected quality.
Yeah.
Um,
And I guess I could see the misconception that, like because you have Zai over Ji, because you have Zai as opposed to Zai, that you're not, that when you go inward, it wouldn't you wouldn't be resonating with something that has emotive tones,
capable of like understanding
Yeah.
tones, or something that's going to relate to emotive tones.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because she's also still connecting even as she goes in.
Yes.
Do when they go in and their mouth totally aware of the environment is still.
Yeah, that's completely.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. Let's see. 140. Those nods are once again completely Zai, as she also has a slight head tilt to the right.
A little bit. Yeah, she's actually has it here in this freeze frame right now. It carried on to 1:41, where she had the head tilt to the right. She's going home.
Yeah. Totally.
Right. Yeah. You can see, like even here, yeah, she has that unflappability, or she's still signaling to the audience when she's in her Zai.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
Calm feeling. Like power.
Yeah. Okay.
Full stop resonating the entire time when she articulates this. Also, that head shake thing she did, that's something that towers do a lot. I maybe not something to separate between Ziny and Shiny, because Shiny do too, but as they're articulating, that you can kind of see the articulation and modulation, because they're going inside to, which kind of orientates them far from articulation, but they're still articulating while doing it. So, what she was saying, but where she is articulating but doing that head shake. I'm not sure how to explain it other than to, like, it's something to say. Yeah.
It feels like a concerted motion to a certain degree. Like she's kind of doing the Zai, but she's still talking very much, in her Ji. It's sort of a combination of both.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. But you also kind of see the difficulty of articulating what it is she's
trying to convey.
Yeah, the principle that she's trying to convey. So like she is in full resonating with it, but kind of that's I think that's what the shaking is, where there's kind of a struggle there.
Yeah, there
Get
is.
it
That
out,
sometimes,
yeah.
like, I know that I do that as
Yes.
well. That shaking when it's like you're trying to, like, grab the ideas to articulate
Yeah.
them, but it's not like feel like it's fully there. So you're sort of like shaking to
Shake it out or something.
shake it
Yeah,
out. I don't know exactly how it is that it works, but I do know that I do that also. So that's something I relate to.
yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. I mean, just to get a little bit more clarity into what you're about to articulate. Is that what you're basically saying? Like to get.
It's
Yeah,
like to percolate more.
percolating.
Yeah.
It's like there takes.
And also a signal to the audience, or the people that are watching, that
working on
we're
it.
working on it.
Yeah.
Kind of like, hold on a second, I'm trying to figure it out.
For me,
Yeah.
it kind of seems sometimes like when I'm watching towers do it, that you know how you kind of like nod your head to get yourself ready before you like do a sprint or jump off a diving board. Towers seem to do that in order to speak. Speaking is like jumping off a diving board. It's kind of like, here we go. You know what I mean? They'll do like a couple of nods into it, and then they're like that builds up the momentum to say it.
That's cool.
Or when you want to close it, and you're having trouble kind of getting it out there, then the shake kind of comes into like, like when you want to spit out the closure.
Get
Yeah,
out,
just
get
push
out.
it out. Let's see.
But an extra strong resonating spin cycle.
Okay, do we do 145? Is this 145? No, it's 140. 145. Another channeling inward positioning with completely aware mouth.
Stories, please, don't.
Are you talking about referring to when she closes her eyes and she's?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. That was a channeling inward, and I think she's still. Yeah, and even as she's doing that, she has the aware mouth. I think that's what I was basically trying to say. Closed eyes, aware mouth.
Yeah, it starts in 144. She's going in.
Don't go to the treaters. Go to your local town.
Yeah, and she's like, don't. And so she sort of does the shaking thing again as she's channeling. So I think she was trying to capture the principle. Say. So that's why she was doing the head shaking from G to Z to Xi. And she's like, don't take don't buy dogs from breeders.
Yeah.
When she finally got, or pets from breeders.
That's interesting.
She seemed to be.
The shaking is kind of a reorienting herself too, because with her she started the sentence a certain way. Then when she went in, then you kind of realize once you get the answer that sentence you started is going nowhere. So you switch it to something where she kind of clarified herself.
Yeah.
She started certain
It's like a reboot.
Yeah.
It's like a reboot. Also, like not only in her mind, but also maybe signaling a reboot, like for the whoever's watching her.
Yeah.
That never mind, like clean slate.
Clean slate, but also I'm summarizing it to this now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Switching gears.
Yeah.
Gotcha. 146. Thy head tilt that is combined with persuasive G articulation and an altered state Yang spidery hand gesture.
Don't go to the treaters. Go to your local town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't go to the breeders. Go to your local town. Area.
Exactly. Two more. 207. A knee perk up while still remaining somewhat hooded. Altered state yang gesturing.
When she said paying lots of money, that she perked up, is that?
Yeah, the eyebrow perk up. Yep.
And she actually did knee and Z at that moment, because she actually leaned forward a little bit when she did that, and did her
Sure.
kind of like the maneuver that Nijai do a lot, but they do it with their knee and Z. I'm sure, and Nijai do it with their knee and G, where they like sort of do this.
She also did
double barreling.
a particularly interesting towery way of doing this, where she arched her back backward to jut in, and did this motion, which is already just an extremely towery yin gesture for a tower. But the way that she jutted forward created this kind of reverse arc. Yeah, it's particularly towery of the two. Yeah, particularly tower gesture. I'm not sure how to weave it in to what the topic was because we're kind of trying to focus on each other's towers, but it's a fun fact.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of cool that she's doing it in a towery way, but yet then there's still this jutting, this forward jutting going on as well. It reminds me of when we had that Jaini, I forgot her name. We had a Jaini a couple weeks back who was also, I think, oh, you know, she was channeling, she was doing a jut, but she was channeling inward, and there was a sort of this combination going on. And Jamie Ray Newman's kind of doing this lean back, but also jutting at the same time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tower maneuver. The one that you were saying were jutting, but also 1,000 yards there at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, that's another interesting maneuver where you see them kind of bending the top of their head backward, but then their mouth forward.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
doing the jetting.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Very cool.
The last one, wait, let me just find it. Give me a second. Just lost it. Oh, wait. Okay, 211. As she says the word free and completes her point, her G is fully articulating with her chin somewhat jutted forward.
Okay, 211. Let's see.
Almost for free, you can get.
Yeah, where she says almost for free, and she
Got it.
She lifts up her chin as she says for free.
Yeah.
Like is it a G emphasis? Almost for free. Oh, it almost seems. What would the because that seems that it's a jut, so it's related to G, but she does it from still being in her side, sort of
It's
a
a
power
tilt,
maneuver.
it's a tilt back jut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what towers do quite a bit.
Get
Almost for free, and
Yeah.
she went backwards.
The chin goes forward at the same time the head does a back toss.
Cool. That is it.
Great,
Sweet.
great stuff.
Excellent stuff, Beniti. As always, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That gives us a lot to work with. It stimulates a conversation. That was great stuff. A lot of good insight there today.
Cool.
Does anyone have anything to add there about, say, Zaini in general before we move on to the live reads? No? All set? Okay, great. Then let's go ahead and pull some up. Let's do this thing.
Okay.
Let's take a look at Stephanie Beatriz.
Stephanie Beatriz.
But with instead of a C-E at the end, it's a Z.
So
Beatriz. She's hip and cool.
Stephanie. Like that?
T-R-I-Z. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck, everyone.
Thank you.
Before you do it, just mention to those who are watching that this is a very difficult maneuver we're doing right now. So everyone just keep, don't weigh yourself down with the expectation or anything. Just kind of take a shot at it. But it's a good experience to learn. So what we're doing right now is live reading while being recorded and scored, and with a time limit of only like 15 to 20 minutes. So a very, very hard maneuver, but it's good to work on it now. That way, down the road, we start working on these more intensely to do, what we do under the highest scientific and journalistic scrutiny. It won't be the first time we're doing it. So our primary focus is the weekly, but it's fun to play around with these. All right, let's do it.
Load it
Good
up.
luck.
Okay, I have an interview over here. I'm going to load it up.
Oh, one thing, and then there's the pausing.
Oh yeah, we're going to be pausing the broadcast now. So there's no dead time. So just one second.